Hi everyone, Neva here from Core Dynamics Physical Therapy in Englewood, New Jersey, and today we're going to chat about breathing. Specifically, what happens when we inhale, what happens when we exhale, and the relationship to the pelvic floor, of course. Okay, so if you can, I'm going to have you place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Take a few breaths, just what your quiet breathing would look like. Don't compare them to mine. You may take a breath in through your nose and out your mouth. You can do it in the mouth, out your nose, in the nose, out your nose. Whatever variation seems comfortable to you right now. I'm going to take a couple of breaths myself. If you can see through the video, when I take a nice deep breath in, you see my hands moving actually outward, away. So let me do that again. I can focus that one hand moves more than the other. And those past few breaths, I did both at the same time. So I could do a chest breath, or I could do an abdominal breath. Having my hands placed in one area or the other, or one of each, helps me guide myself to where I want my breath. I can do the same thing if I put my hands by my rib cage. Now I'm going to take a breath and inhale more towards the sides. Of course, in sitting, it may look one way. Maybe laying down is something that you should try. Maybe laying on your side or laying on your belly. So different ways are going to send the breath in different positions and give you different cues. So now let's look at what happens when we inhale versus when we exhale. If my hand is right around where the diaphragm would be, I'm going to take a nice inhalation and show you what the diaphragm would do in that inhalation. Okay, and I'm going to inhale now and then exhale. Now my hand is definitely not perfect. Both hands would be more the dome-like shape of the diaphragm. So as I inhale, the dome goes down. As I exhale, it comes back up. It moves down with the inhalation so my lungs could fill. And as my lungs take out the air, it comes back up. Okay, so now what happens to the pelvic floor? Guess what? It's going to actually mirror what your diaphragm does. So here's my pelvic floor down here in the pelvis. As I inhale, it comes down. As I exhale, it comes to neutral. Okay, so diaphragm, pelvic floor, inhale, exhale. When we talk about recruiting, engaging, or contracting the pelvic floor, I usually try to put that together with an exhalation. So imagine you were actually doing a bicep curl with heavy weights. Most likely you would exhale with the exertion. So my pelvic floor generally wants to contract with an exhale. Good. Now, because it's not so much exertion, I don't always have to match it up to the inhale, exhale. But if I just talk, I know I'm breathing in and out and using those muscles. When we want to talk about letting go or relaxing the pelvic floor muscles, we generally put that together with an inhalation. So as I inhale, I focus on that pelvic floor to let it go. One place, if I'm sitting, I can focus on my sitting bones. Okay, so I can use each hand on the sitting bones. And if I take a nice, slow, deep breath, I want to feel some expansion into that pelvic floor, almost as if my sitting bones become wide, but they're not actually moving, and that I feel the air dropping down. If I lay down on my mat or on a bed or anywhere that's comfortable, and I take my hands again on those sitting bones, and now I'm going to take again a nice deep inhalation and let it go. I want to feel that my belly rises in the inhalation and that I'm getting the sense of the air coming down to my sitting bones, which means I'm letting go of that pelvic floor. So again, inhale and exhale. If I forcefully exhale, I can feel the sensation that my belly muscles and my pelvic floor want to recruit. And that's what I was talking about, exertion and recruiting. Similarly to sitting, I can place one hand on my chest and one on my belly and work on breathing this way. I can also place my hands on the rib cage and work on the breath this way. So with the inhalation, if I'm on my rib cage, I'm going to have a side movement. As I exhale, the ribs come back to neutral. If I have my hand on my chest and one on my belly, I'm going to inhale and see both rise. And as I exhale, the hands come down or the belly deflates. Using our breath, having better control of our breath, and coming back to our breath are all great tools because it makes us more present. It makes us more mindful to what activity we were doing, whether we're exercising or trying yoga or relaxation or whatnot, or when we're in pain or when we're anxious or nervous, come back to that breath. Having the breath coordination may also make you more coordinated and aware of what your muscles are doing when they're letting go versus when they're being recruited and being used. Many times I use the breath to calm myself down, to not overreact, to maybe stop myself from saying something that I don't want to say, or just becoming more present with myself.